Hello QuickCure Clay friends, it's the Juilliard here and we're in the studio tonight and I'm going to show you how I make my metal clay, okay, with QuickCure Clay. Now, most of you or some of you may know about the metal clays that are on the market and that they require kilns and torches and all that stuff. We can use the same kinds of metal powders with QuickCure Clay. And we don't need a kiln, and we don't need a torch. All we need is a little old heat gun or a hot plate and a way to polish, and we're good to go. Very, very hard and very pretty, in my opinion. You decide on your own, but I think you're going to like this. So let's get started, okay? What you're going to need is, of course, your clay, whether neutral or black. If you choose the black clay and you do the metal powders in it, you're going to get more of antique finish. It's going to, fill in those crevices with a little deeper tone, which isn't nothing wrong with that. And then if you use the natural, it'll be much lighter than that. So let me here. Okay, so you have choices when it comes out. And then, of course, throw all that out the window, because if you wanted to go back and you wanted to patina or antique it or use another, you could do a wash or whatever you can and then just clean that off. And then, you've got it covered. So you've got lots of options here, all right? So we know we're going to need the clay. And, of course, you're going to need some metal powders. No, not these kind. Not mica powders. Not metal paint powders, not rub and buff, no, real metal powder, okay? These powders, like here's one that I get. This is my aluminum powder. This is the 1 pound. This stuff, it weighs. It's got pretty good weight to it. Of course, this is, real, so it's what's going to allow us to get the polish and the weight to our pieces. So this is the aluminum one. Then we have a copper. I buy these from different suppliers. I just kind of like to spread it out a little bit, everybody. So you do whatever you want. But there's copper. And we got bronze. Okay. And Micro Mart has, brass. Of course, if you want to, you can always go and get you some 99.99% pure silver. Or gold for that matter. But anyway, you've got options. That's all I'm trying to say. Alrighty. And then, of course, you're going to need your heat tool. You'll need something to dip the powders out. And, of course, these little portion cups. I've got some molds here. This is from our friends at Zuri. If you've not looked at their molds, they're beautiful. They really are beautiful molds. And we're going to use this one tonight to make our pieces with. Of course, gloves. Eye protection, a mask, because you don't want to be breathing any of this dirty mess in. And then we'll get into the polishing side of it, because I'm going to show you what I prefer and then options that you have. But right now, let's get this clay made, okay? We're going to work with the natural. You're going to pinch you off a little piece. And let's do aluminum. So now the question is, well, how much? Okay. Well, as much as the clay can take. That's what I say. As much as the clay can take. This is going to, really get hard. You got the metal, which is really durable and strong. The clay is durable, 5 times stronger than polymer clay. What does that say, right? So you've got these durable materials coming together. I have yet to have me overdo it and cause a problem. Let me just say it today. I mean, we're not talking about, building a support system here. You're not building the bridge. We're just making jewelry and some other art pieces, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? So I'm just going to take out about as much as the size of the piece is, all right, for starters. And you'll want to just kind of flatten out your clay. That works best. No, I do not. The video I just did to teach you how to incorporate color into the natural, and we used alcohol to make it kind of thin. We're not adding any of that alcohol to this. We want this to just be the clay, okay? And the reason for that is just knowing that we need to be able to feel how much particle is in there, and it's really about touch, okay, at this point. Now, if this is too hard for you to do with your fingers, you can always grab, you know, spatulas and things like that, or an old spoon, and just start folding and pressing, and then working it in. I like using my fingers. Okay, so here we are, just really getting that incorporated. Now, something I want to remind you or let you know about is that you want to plan your project ahead of time. And I say that because when you introduce any of the other colors of metal powder to the clay, other than silver, it has a reaction. It causes the clay to go ahead and start its forward polymerization, or, you know, that process. And it will get hard on you. Could be, you know, a day or more than that, but just, you know, remember that it's best to just make it up the day you're going to use it. Now, the silver can go longer than that. And of course, you know, the clay itself, without any powder, can stay out weeks, days, months, years, and still work. That's what we love about it. It's a cure-on-demand clay, and works really well for that. So anyway, you can see I'm just going to keep adding this in. You know, do some testing on your own. Practice. You know, think about what you want, what you're going for. You're going to look for it to start doing this, like, where the clay doesn't really want to stick to itself. See there? That's kind of what we're going for, but we're going to just keep pressing it in. And just really kneading it in there. Because, guess what? The more powder we can get in there, the prettier and shinier our piece is going to be. So I'll just, don't throw any of that away. You know that, I'm sure, but just want to make sure you really know. Don't throw any of it away. Okay. Now I'm just going to take it and just kind of roll it around in my hand. Then snake it, fold it, snake it. What I'm looking for is, at this point, we're looking to make sure that we don't have any, like, bands. I'm going to flatten it out here. And if you were to see any kind of modeling bands, almost marbling look, then you know you don't have enough of the metal powder in there. But we've got a good amount in this, so I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to clean up this area here real quick. I don't put this back in the bag. Anytime I'm cleaning up my area and I don't incorporate all of it, I put it in a cup and not back in the bag. You do want to label if you're gonna, you know, have other people in your studio working, so they know what's in the cup. But other than that, just don't even worry about it. All right, I'm gonna clean my hands up here. Set this aside. We'll go back to our clay here. Get it all balled up. All right, got some more right here, so I'll set that there. Now, we're going to grab our pretty mold. Remember, too, we don't really have to worry about it sticking to the mold too much because we've incorporated the metal powders really well. So I'm going to pinch off a piece of clay. Yeah, we're just going to find a pretty area here that we like. Try to do this as quickly as I can for you. Let's go ahead and get a piece of the brass. There we go. Piece of brass, and we'll do a piece of bronze too. Just think, buttons, pens, maybe you need bezels for your resin projects, and, you know, whatever. I mean, and the weight, that's the nice thing. Like I said, listen to that. I mean, the sound is so awesome. You hear that metal in there. Not that the clay doesn't make a cool sound on its own. but having that metal in does. Okay, so I'm going to pause it here because you just take this and just hold it on there and it'll cure. If you put it on a hot plate, it'll cure from underneath, and it's seconds. So let's just do that real quick. Okay, so I have taken the heat gun to our pieces. You can hear that? They're still a little warm for me. But while that's cooling, I'm going to show you the ways to polish. You may have a Dremel or one of those nail filing. Same thing as a Dremel, but it's just made for doing, your nails. And you just want to use the buffer wheel on that device. It's got a great amount of RPM and will give you a good polish. All right. If you don't have that and you want to use a brush or something, these are okay. The only thing is they just take forever. And I do mean a long time. I mean, you're going to do this a while, truly, okay? But it is possible, all right? Next, people would say, okay, you can use steel wool. Yes, you can. However, the steel wool, when I've tried it, what it does is first of all, if you've got any high profile, it wants to kind of stick on it and break. Now, there are some better quality steel wools out there. By all means, if you want to try that, you can. But steel wool does work. It does start to get it cleaned up. You get a lot of mess. That's the only downside to using the steel wool. But you can figure that out, okay? And then, of course, your drill. If you have a drill, you can always get a buffer wheel for it. And if it's got a good amount of force to it, you put on some polishing compound like Flitz, or you can get rouges, and you put that on, and you have to hold it and kind of buff it. Okay, I think those are great. They're options for you, but this is not what I recommend. What I recommend is buying yourself a grinder, a tabletop grinder with a grinding wheel and a buffing wheel. Why? And here's the cool thing too is that they come in little tiny one. They're about this big. They're so cute, but they have really good RPM. Some of them have lights on them. You would get that, and it'll buff them up so fast. It just makes it kind of one of those tools that it's affordable. It's worth having for other things as well. Alrighty, because I also use it to grind. Everybody asks me, how do I sand or, shape or form my QuickCure Clay tools and other things that I make with it. And I use my grinder with a mask, of course, and in an area where it don't matter to get too dusty, but I do. This is what I use. So I'm going to tilt the camera over that way, and I'm going to take these pieces that we just did, and we're going to polish them. And it's going to get noisy, but I think you'll be okay. So here we are. You can see here's the wheel. Now, the rules of using this. No long sleeves or any garment that's going to get caught in it. So, see this? I'm going to take my bracelet off, okay? No necklaces. Keep your hair pinned up and out of the way. No shirts, no long shirts, nothing that's going to get caught in that baby, because you will get hurt. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and here we go. So this is rouge. This is my small one. My big one's out in the shop. But, so basically it's a polishing compound in like a wax, and we just load it onto the wheel. Okay, and then we're going to hold on to this. You do not want to let this go. You want to hold on to it really well. If you let it go, it'll go shooting across the room. I know this because I've done this. Alright. So, look at that. I'll zoom in on them after we get them done. Alright, let's turn this baby off. Light. Come right back here. All right, now we'll zoom in. Look at that. Now this one here could use a little bit more. This is that bronze one. You can see how much deeper it is. Okay. And then this is the brass piece here. Now, if I want to clean that up, I could always come back in with the brush here. And you can wash these with soap and water and a toothbrush in case you get residue down inside, because let's face it, you can get that pretty easily. But anyway, you can see how it started to clean it up, and then I could go back to the wheel again. I really do enjoy the look of metal. And, you know, it's not that I don't like rub and buffs and all that kind of stuff, but I want metal. That's it. I want metal. And I got it. Yeah. And like I said, don't mix up the batches too far in advance. Have fun, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Julie Art signing out.